Hello and welcome to Two Good Talks. I have another extraordinary individual in the studio today, and we are going to take a deep dive into her journey and also have a giggle along the way, as well as have a deep and meaningful conversation. Tayla Harris, welcome to the show.
Thank you. That was great.
Did you like it?
Yeah. Obviously, just before that started, the jingle, I didn't know what to expect. You did an excellent job.
Thank you. I've been working on my intro. We're only a few episodes deep, so we're still feeling it out, and I think that was a good bring in. But thanks for coming. Thanks for coming to the pod today.
My pleasure.
I want to dive right into just some recent events. You had a social media post recently where you decided to basically trick everyone that you had shaved your head.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just don't care. So I just do whatever I want in the moment. And I just was obviously doing something else. I was filming an ad. And for that ad, I had to have a bald hat on or a bald head or whatever. And the makeup people were incredible. They were full cinema
cool.
movie makeup experts. And so they've made my hair bald, and you wouldn't even know my obviously real hair's underneath. Anyway, I was taking photos thinking, how funny is this? And then one particular photo, I was like, this looks real. I'll just see if I can get a few people. And then, Nan saw her and she started crying.
Oh, no.
Mum said. And I got a few messages saying, like, have you really done this? It was sweet. Like, some people were very complimentary.
Super, supportive on your socials. I was reading the comments and I was like, because I was trying to figure out if this was real or fake, as everyone was.
Yeah.
But everyone was so supportive and you've been wanting to do this for ages. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, because I messaged some of my friends saying, comment this so it can double down on convincing people. Then I put some stories on, which helped my case.
Helped the
convince.
cause.
It was hilarious. But then it was quite funny because obviously some people were nice about it and whatever, or so I thought. And then on the direct messages, specifically guys had heaps to say about what they thought in a negative way. So I was like, this is really interesting because I didn't do it. It's
a good social experience.
It was an experiment. Yeah. Because I didn't do it. Actually, I was kind of like, oh, well, whatever, it doesn't actually matter. But had I have, and these people say awful things, it's like, geez, get a life probably.
Yeah, absolutely. That is something.
But anyway.
You went to Paris during the Olympics and I really want to talk about this experience because I was hella jealous sitting in Melbourne, and I knew you were going on this trip, and you got to meet some inspiring and incredible people on this experience. How did it come about, and who were the people that you met?
Yeah, I had an opportunity. Nike is one of my major sponsors who I've been with for 4 years to date, and I've just signed on for another 4 years. So
congratulations.
I've got to do some really cool things so far, but this one really topped it. I'm part of a cohort of athletes, Nike athletes obviously, called the Female Athlete Think Tank. Cool. Athlete Think Tank, and it's women. So we go and we, in line with a major event, obviously the Olympics on this instance, and we all spend a week or so together and do heaps of really constructive workshops and have insight into things that Nike can share with us. For example, innovation of sports bras. We had some input and influence on things that are coming in future, because who better than the athletes who wear them and utilize them. So I really respect and appreciate that Nike do that, and then to invite me as part of it is one of my most highly when I think about the things that I've achieved in my career, that is up the top for one of the top ones. So
absolutely, it's a credit to you. Just to quickly interrupt, credit to you and how you've taken yourself from playing AFLW, being a boxer as well, but then elevating yourself internationally. It's a credit to how you go about what you do, your brand, but also the authenticity that you share, whether it's through social media, through podcasts like this, and the media that you do take part in. It's a credit to you. So that's a huge tick, and we done.
Thanks, Lindsay. Yeah, no, it was one of those things that came up, and it worked, and I obviously told we were in pre-season at this point, and I let Mick, head coach, know, and anyone else who needed to know in as much notice that I could, which was heaps of notice, and I explained what it meant and what it was, and how this can help me in my personal life and how I can go and bring back some bits of advice or some gold that I had learnt over there from some pretty incredible athletes, namely Serena Williams was there, but also there was, there was Sue Bird, who's a WNBA legend.
Superstar.
Yeah, and then
Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
probably.
track and field athletes, and then you've got Paralympians, and then literally all of the spaces were covered and everybody was represented, which is the whole point. So to be able to share space with them, and I found the conversations like on the bus, for example, on the way to the next thing that we were doing really valuable, because those are the conversations that are really casual and it's not so much pressure. You're just sitting there and chatting and getting to know each other. So I will never regret going on that experience. And I think that I got to experience something that not only is memorable for the rest of my life, but probably changed the trajectory of my life in a sense, because I learnt some incredible mindset tips from athletes who have been at the absolute top, not just these athletes who are doing well and whatever. Like, these are literally the best ever in history.
Best of the best.
So how else? You have to take those. This is life. Like, you have to take opportunities when they come. And it was something that I had ticked off in the appropriate way to get approval for with my already committed status at footy. And
an opportunity that is as big as this. And like you said, those little conversations with these athletes, what was it like meeting Serena Williams, Sue Bird? Like, were there specific little gems that you did get from them that you still hold on to now?
Yeah, I think probably what I would say about meeting them is that they're just normal people like everyone else. And the whole landscape of this particular trip and group was that we're all on an even playing field, so to speak. So I guess the conversations were just very normal, and it was easy for me to not get overawed by Serena, for example, who's literally the
Serena.
best tennis player on the planet.
Yeah, for
but,
real.
Yeah, but I didn't, like, in that moment, I was just like, this is Serena, you know, not everything else that goes along with her name. And so that conversation was really cool because it was just that.
Yeah.
But in terms of insight and things that I picked up from her, one of them, which I've taken with me and I felt that I knew was powerful, but curiosity is the one that she said and continued to speak about. Not only her, but others resonated with this, but curiosity throughout many aspects of life, whether it be obviously sport, but business as well. But she was using, explaining things like remain curious about why your body is reacting in a certain way, or why this person or situation has presented itself in this moment. Like, why would that be? Rather than just thinking like, this is what is going on right now. It's like, of course, live in it and do it. But definitely consider that there could be more to it, or that you could be making more of it.
Yeah, 100%.
So that was cool.
I'd love to like chat about a little bit more about curiosity, because this is something like going through this, getting the podcast up and running, and like some key values that this podcast is based off of, is one of them is curiosity, because we have to remain curious, and particularly when you want to have meaningful conversations, you need to be curious and want to know more about your life, your journey, and all of that. But it's something that's really stuck out for me, and something that's become a goal of mine for this year is remaining curious, whether that's in your craft and like learning more about football, and that specifically for me, but when it comes to like your relationships, your friendships, or things that like may piss you off, you're like, remain curious and lean into that, rather than like having a knee-jerk reaction and, you know, just reacting and being like, oh, you know, shit, that's annoying. And it's like, oh no, why did it make me feel like that? And then you can work through it a little bit, I think, a little bit more maturely, and have a bit more perspective when you're working through different things, for sure.
I totally agree. And I think also with that, why would they react like that or act like that to you? It's like, you don't know what this person is obviously maybe going through or whatever, but more so, you don't know where that's really come from. Like, I think it's so valuable just to be able to have perspective in that moment of heat, or maybe you're a bit angry or whatever. Yeah. But if you're able to get a hold of that and actually go, what is going on here, in a real inquisitive way, rather than an anger
I think
reaction.
It's probably like a reflection of like maturity as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, when you can step back and kind of look at things in more perspective and see it with curiosity. But I think there's real power in it. I think that word curiosity is so powerful in how you approach different things.
Yeah, I agree. And also, I guess with adversity or challenges that come your way, like, I guess there's always positive somewhere in there. Might be pretty far down possibly if it's particularly challenging, but there's going to be something that comes of it. And to be able to keep chipping away and finding that and realizing that is actually a good part of the journey.
Yeah. And it's all the path to personal growth is often through being curious, sitting at the bottom of the pit, that whatever resilience building you find, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, that's such a cool experience, Tazy. Like, how I don't think, obviously people will always have their opinions on your decisions because you're in the limelight. Like, but to go and experience that, rub shoulders with like-minded people, normal people, but also be able to come back and learn and utilize things that impact your life. What a cool experience.
Yeah, well, not only that, I got to also bring that back to my teammates. And at the time, it was the perfect scenario because I came back immediately off the plane to training and I had organised a presentation of sorts for the group of what I learnt. I had my notepad full and I said and then it was quite candid because I was kind of flicking through and saying like, oh, yeah, and then I've written this. I don't really know what it means. Oh, yeah, that's right. This is what I spoke to so-and-so about. So that felt like I was able to give back to the footy club who allowed me and gave me permission to go, which of course I didn't have to. But realistically, when I consider in the grand scheme and how things unfolded is, I guess, bizarre how the world works. Like I ended up obviously being injured for the season. But in saying that, and I think about the fact that had I not have got injured in the first quarter of the first game, it would have just been like, have I missed an opportunity of a lifetime? Like, and for what? Like it just, that never is relative because it didn't happen. Like that's not how it unfolded. But I'm very happy that I did go. And at the end of the day, when I'm 60 or something and telling my kids or grandkids about this experience, it's any of the other stuff is irrelevant. Only the moment that I got to leave and be in and make the most of is what gets told.
Yeah, absolutely. No, what an experience. And probably all of us, all your friends definitely were here in Melbourne, were jealous of that experience, but we've also been able to talk to you and you've shared what you have learnt, not only to your teammates, but to your close circle and friends around you, which we do really appreciate that. So thanks for sharing that experience. So cool. But you did just mention that you were injured first quarter of last year with your shoulders. How's your recovery going? Where are we at? How's the mind body feeling leading into, well, we're in pre-season at the moment, but leading into the 2025 season?
I'm in a good spot at the moment, and it's been 5, almost 6 months or so since my left shoulder operation, which is the point where you kind of start to feel yourself again and you can actually get back into proper training. And I definitely feel that with boxing training particularly. Like each session I feel like I'm back to normal, like I'm getting my speed back and power and reaction time and everything. So that's a fun part of the rehab journey. I mean, obviously it was super challenging, but that it would have been pretty crappy if it was one shoulder, but having to have 2 back-to-back shoulder reconstructions was not ideal. But
that's a long time not boxing for you. Like what was that like?
Yeah, I think I was talking to my coach, Ty, about this today. The fact that it's very understated when an athlete gets injured that they literally can't do the one thing that they do, right? It's so mentally challenging beyond the actual injury. Honestly, the injury and the pain and the rehab and doing the exercises and whatever is fine. It's all part of the job. But the actual fact that you just can't do the thing that you love and put your whole life into is bizarre. And I guess that's unique to athletes in a sense. And with our season, AFLW being so far between seasons, it's a really long time in between. But obviously I've got my boxing as well. So to have been able to return to that recently has been a very big difference for me and my general well-being. I just adore my boxing gym, my boxing community, boxing itself. So that added in, as well as obviously returning to football pre-season with teammates, like all these things are falling in line. So I'm in a good spot now. But with the operation, I'd never had an operation before other than the right shoulder the year the year earlier or whatever. And so I was talking to Dad about it, and he was saying how he's a mechanic, and he was saying you don't get a boat or a car and not expect to service it or upgrade it.
Yep.
And so that helped me a bit.
I like that analogy.
Thinking, well, I mean, I'm an athlete and this is a high performing vehicle, so to speak.
The highest of performing.
Well, ideally. Anyway, so of course, there is necessary to fix it up. Dad also had a hip replacement in the same year. So thankfully,
so you could share it together.
We shared that experience. But yeah, it was really full on, and it was something that I hadn't experienced in my career. I had a minor knee thing a few years ago, but other than that, I'd been very lucky with injury, and to have two major ones was challenging, but I'm thankful now for it because the resilience factor is enormous, and I can be proud of the way that I've got through it, and all I can do now is come back and enjoy playing footy and boxing, and obviously I'll try my best to play well, and that will all be what it'll be. But at the end of the day, like, to be able to not have played for a fair chunk and now to get a little taste again, it's exciting.
It is exciting, and I think people can be like, maybe not quite understand what it's like when you do take away the thing that athletes love to do, and it's play their sport, boxing or footy. And when that's taken away, a lot of purpose is also taken away. And I think a lot of people do talk about like identity for athletes, and yes, a lot of it is wrapped up in your sport and when things are going well and you're able to play and enjoying yourself. But when that is taken away, it really highlights potentially individuals, the work that individuals need to do to, balance out their identity. But that takes time, and when it is taken away and you have been forced not to play, it's so hard to just like, sometimes there are some grim days. Like, yes, there's like worse things in the world, but like for athlete and their identity and not being able to play the thing they love, it actually it's difficult. Like, I've just gone through it as well with my knee and ankle.
Well, as you'd know, it's not just the playing. The playing is just one element. It's the fact that I have 2 border collies and I need 2 arms.
Yes, that's
to
also
walk them.
Important.
And I couldn't, or drive. I couldn't drive for a portion of time. And it's that independence that you lose through injury. And of course, as you mentioned, like, there are worse things, but in the moment, it is very challenging day-to-day life when you're overcoming an injury and you're the type of person that requires the outdoors or owns 2 border collies and needs them to be run around. So, and I also had bought a house and was renovating a house, so I'm ripping up carpet in a sling and doing all the hitting nails with all this stuff in immobilized, which was infuriating because I like to do things myself and I like to get things done. I like to get them done yesterday. So
and now it's today, and they haven't been done because of shoulder surgery.
Exactly. So those little challenges presented, but all in the past now. So I guess
I think whenever you hurt yourself, you don't realize how much you use it.
Yes.
Like, this was obviously ankle, knee, and shoulders are obviously really important. But when I was on a scooter and I couldn't
steps
I couldn't
just
do anything. It was just frustrating as all hell, really.
Yeah.
All those little things.
But when you're growing up, remember when you think that you want to have crutches or a cast or something?
100%. Like, what's that concept?
Or a sling. I remember thinking I might have wanted a sling or thought it was cool or something. And then I had it for 3, maybe 4 minutes. And I was like, that's enough.
Yeah. Like the person that came to school with it on, you're like, oh, wow, they're getting like special treatment.
Yeah.
And like, oh, that's cool.
I'm throwing myself out of the tree, try and break my arm next minute. And anyway, now as an adult, I've realised it's not a good place to be.
No, it's not. Surgery, it's not. I think I mentioned this on a recent episode of like, surgery is hardcore. That they do carpentry to your body. Like, it's actually quite impressive what they do. You spoke about it, boxing. How did you get into it? Where did the love for it come from?
When I was young, Dad took me down to the local PCYC and just kind of said, let's give boxing a go as cross training for footy. And I really, really loved it. And I thought it was a sport that I wanted to keep doing, obviously, and it was something I did with Dad, and it was cool. And then later on, obviously, footy representative teams and stuff as a teenager was really busy, so I kind of wasn't doing boxing for a minute, and then I got my driver's license and I could drive myself to the gym. And so I was at the gym, boxing gym, literally every morning and afternoon. Loved it and loved my coaches, and I just felt like it was this place I felt like was where I wanted to be and where I felt good and happy. And I think boxing's a really cool sport because I swear I'm never I guess in comparison to footy, because you've got your teammates, there it isn't always on you. Like, you're not always focusing on a ground ball or a mark. Whereas in boxing, you're always focusing on not getting punched in the face.
Yes.
So it is a space where for however long you're doing that training session, you very much only can worry about that. And it's like when, like, obviously I've got a lot of things to do and think about and whatever. So it's like all of a sudden for an hour or whatever it is, I can actually be in that moment, which is quite invigorating.
So it's like a real mindfulness, like you as present as you can be, because you have to be to avoid getting punched in the face. What is it like stepping into the ring knowing that that person really wants to punch you in the face and kind of hurt you? Like, I'm just not stepping in.
Well, that's the thing, like not many people would want to. The reason I first did was very much not to be in the fight. Like, it wasn't that. It was my coach thought that I could do it or that I should give it a go. He believed in me and I said, okay, let's do it. And so I just went. I was wearing like footy shorts and I'm like not even the right shoes or whatever. And it was great. It was exciting. Like, I'm a competitor, so it was competing, and it's just the same as footy. Imagine telling someone who's not into AFL footy, like, are you willing to go out there and someone could possibly knee you in the head? Yep. Or you're going to throw yourself over someone who's kicking the ball as hard as they can and you're going to put your face around the area. Yeah. Like, look, that's crazy stuff.
Now that you've broken the game of footy down, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I think, like, we underestimate how brutal footy really is.
That's true.
And it's very apparent when I'm at boxing, when my coach says, like, I know you've been at training, because there's bruises everywhere. I've got some sort
scratches,
broken hand or finger or whatever from literally a warm-up catching the ball or something stupid. And at boxing, that doesn't happen. You're not going to do a hamstring in the boxing ring. You might get a bruised eye or a sore nose, but, like, I think boxing is a sport that it's truly a purist sport, and it's dancing in a way. Like, you're very much trying to, perform a routine. Yeah. And then obviously the hurting bit or whatever, or getting hit is all part of it. But adrenaline kicks in then, and it's all... Yeah,
fight or flight.
But getting in there in the first place is obviously the biggest fight. And the weight cut as well is a whole thing.
Yeah, can we talk about that?
If you'd like to.
Like, you've won 2 Australian titles? More?
Yeah, a couple.
You're so humble. Whatever the number is out there in the universe.
Well, for me, it's like, I don't really care about them. Like, I only care about the proper world title one day, which I will win.
You will?
Of course I will.
Like, I believe in you.
I'm not like spewing in the boxing gym in Keilor for not trying to win a boxing world title. Like, and of course people can have their opinion on if I could or couldn't or should or whatever. I don't care. Like, of course I'm going to try my best to achieve the ultimate thing. And when that opportunity presents itself in the future, it's my job to be ready. Yeah. And there has been some opportunities along the way, and it hasn't quite come to fruition, obviously, with the schedule of footy and whatever. And it's been hard to balance, but I'll be boxing longer than I'll be playing footy. Longevity in boxing is much longer. There's the world champion Natasha Jonas, who is 40, give or take. She's 40 something. She's a world champion and active, like still in her peak
and fighting. Yeah.
There's not many 40-year-old AFLW players out there in their peak.
No, not.
But that shows our sport is so brutal.
It does.
So that's my plan.
Yeah, really. Cool plan. So weight cutting, what's the most intense experience you've had?
Well, I've had to lose obviously several kilos in preparation for the weigh-in the night before the fight, and I have to be in the sauna, or there's a thing, water loading, and you got to drink lots of water and then not, and whatever, and you wee. But to make it simple. So in the sauna, obviously, you're not. It's kind of productive to be drinking water, but anyone who's been in the sauna for 20 minutes is like
thirsty.
Yeah, they're thirsty in there. Well, you got to be in there until all the weight falls off. Yeah, like it could be
a long time.
1 hour or 2 hours. Who knows? You just have got to stay in there.
I think I'd get a bit agitated. Did you get agitated?
Oh yeah, it's awful experience. Yeah, it's hot in there.
I'm aware of it's
sweaty
recovery protocol, but I get to 15 minutes and I start, like, my legs start jiggling around. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I got to call it here.
Yeah, it's challenging, but that's one.
And then once you've made
option.
Weight, which is 24 hours usually before the fight.
Yeah, the night before generally.
And then from that point, you're not going to weigh in again, right? So you can, like, load up, fuel up, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
get ready.
You can. So you weigh in and tick it off, and then step off, and you have whatever you've got, electrolytes, water, and whatever else. I like blueberries. And you have them ready to just eat and drink straight away. But of course, you don't want to go too crazy because you're going to feel yuck if you just smash it all down.
Yeah.
So you be a little bit strategic about the whole thing. But your stomach has shrunk at this point, and so you want to eat all this food and whatever, but it's all there in front of me, and my eyes are way too big for my stomach. You can, like, you eat as much as you can, but it's like, oh, I'm full all of a sudden. But I'm thinking that I would eat literally
like everything.
fully grown horse.
Yes.
But
But you can't because your stomach's like, no,
But the other bit is you actually have to fight then. This is the thing. It's like the weigh-in is a thing.
Yeah.
But then the actual fight hasn't even started yet.
And
but you've already done the first fight.
How exhausting.
Which is the weight cut. Yeah. I swear the fight is much easier than the weight cut.
Yeah.
Because the fight you're prepared for. You've done everything possible. You just have to turn up on the night and enjoy the moment.
Like, and actually compete and do what you want to do.
Yes.
What's the walk into the ring like?
Oh, it's fun. It's a show. That's why I love professional boxing as opposed to possibly amateur boxing. It's a whole show.
Yeah.
It's
entertainment.
your music and your outfit and you got your coaches and you got lights and smoke machines and all this carry on. And it's fun. I like it because it's just entertainment. And other people are there. They've paid to watch it. So it's my job to make it fun.
Make it a show.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait for the world title show. Oh, that's going to be so exciting.
Well, yeah.
I believe in you.
Thank you.
And I get very excited when you talk about boxing because I can see how much passion it brings you. And I know it's something that you'd want to continue to explore, maybe not right now because of football. And you're going to live out your football journey for as long as that takes you. But, geez, I'm excited to see what that looks like beyond.
Thank you. Boxing will be something that I'll have in my life. I predict for hopefully a lot of my life. And so I'm just doing my thing. Like I'm chipping away and training and learning with my coach and all that in the background. And at some point, obviously I'll be able to fight again. But to date, I haven't done a fight that I've been at all happy with. Yep. None of them have been to my standard. So I know that there's a huge amount of work to be done. So, and I guess any opinion on me saying that today based on my previous fights is not actually what I'm saying. I'm saying I'm aware of what I'm willing to put in from now to then hopefully in pre-40s.
Pre-40s time.
An opportunity and I'll be able to fulfill it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, let's touch on a little bit of your AFLW career. I want to, because I know you're the most humble of them all. We've got an AFLW Premiership player in 2022, 4 times AFL All-Australian team. We've got...
Doesn't matter. Premiership. That's all. You can
that's
stop.
That's
all
one.
that matters.
No, also leading goal kicker for Carlton 3 times and then Melbourne as well. Grew up in Queensland.
Yes. That
Quaffle.
matters.
That does matter. Because when you were growing up, a little bit like myself, even down here in Melbourne, it's a footy state, where Queensland and the northern states less so. What was the football landscape up in Queensland when you were growing up, and where did the passion spark for footy?
I started at the AFLW Hornets Footy Club on the north side of Brisbane, and I love that club, and I was very glad that I went there. I landed there first, and I stayed there for as long as I could. As a 5-year-old girl, I played with the boys, my brother's team, and I was just playing in the under-7s. My brother was 2 years older, so I'd play with him for junior footy, and then eventually I would go to my own age group. Yep. Did you play with the boys?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I was the only girl.
Same.
For a few years, yeah.
Did you ever verse another girl?
No, not really, no.
Exactly. It's the same.
I kind of used it to my advantage, though, because sometimes the boys didn't know if they wanted to tackle or not, or if they could. So I was like, if you're not going to do it, brother, I'm just going to go.
Yeah, same. It was like that. I was possibly more so, I'll just, like, smash you. Yeah. Then you'll get the message. As opposed to thinking, free pass.
True. That's so true.
Well, that was kind of dad's.
Yeah.
Or mum and dad's advice.
Yes.
Mum and dad's advice.
Yeah.
So AFLW Hornets.
Yep.
Just played my junior footy with the boys always, and I had a really good experience. I don't want it to be confused that I had some sort of traumatic thing or whatever, as in like playing with the boys.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I wouldn't change it, and I was very appreciative of my group of boys that I played with, and some have gone on to do amazing things in the AFL footy and otherwise. So, I feel like I had a really good time as a junior in football at the Hornets. And
Go
then
Hornets.
And then we as girls weren't allowed to play after 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to go and play open age women's football at Zilmere Eagles.
Yeah.
Which was quite like, that's us now against
That's
a 15-year-old, 15-year-old.
Yep.
And I was a stick figure. So I just like, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah. But that was the reason why Mum, so when I stopped playing with the boys, Mum was like, oh, you're 13 years old. I don't know if I want to, like,
It's a hard
I was still a
decision.
bigger body, like, but it was like, I was then going to be playing against women, and Mum was like, oh, I just don't really feel comfortable yet. Like, you're still pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for parents.
Yeah, for sure.
I wasn't taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I
you
had too
might
many
have
other sports that I was dabbling in before.
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay.
She's a cross-coder.
I cross-coded.
been. What? Netball?
Netball,
Yeah.
basketball, you name a sport, I've probably tried it.
Badminton?
Beach volleyball. Oh, but except that. Only at school. I did volleyball, beach volleyball.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Lacrosse?
just dabbled. No, lacrosse.
Bowling?
No, like what kind of bowling?
Supercars?
Okay, all right. Don't just don't just like derail what I just said. No, I just tried a lot of things. But back to you, not me. So footy, started playing with the women,
Yes.
and then
Well,
what happened?
Katie Brennan was also
There we go.
in the women's league. So
Yep.
Katie was playing for Logan
Mhm.
Cobras, which was the other side of town. And I didn't know Katie yet, but we played on the Queensland team. The representative
Yep.
under 18 teams were now a thing that I was interested in. And so this is how I met Katie Brennan via the Queensland team. She was the captain.
Yep.
She used to wear headgear.
Captain Katie.
Yes. And I just thought that she was the best thing. Well, still think. Sorry,
Yeah.
not thought, not past tense. Think she's the best. I just think she's so good at footy, but
Yep.
also she was just so nice to me back then.
Yeah.
And that was so impactful as a small child
Mm-hmm.
on this team of women, or
Yep.
at least 18 or much older than me, year old. So yeah, that was kind of the next thing, those representative teams for the women's.
Yep.
And then out of nowhere, AFLW became a conversation.
Just before AFLW, we did have the exhibition matches.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
For those that don't know the history of women's football, Melbourne and Western Bulldogs held these exhibition matches for the best talent.
40 or
Yeah,
people or
best
something?
40 players in the women's league. I think both interstate and also down here in Victoria. So that was kind of the history before AFLW came in.
That was a cool
Who did you play? You played for
experience.
Melbourne?
I played for Melbourne in 2 of them,
Yeah.
I think. So I think there was 3, maybe 4.
I think there were 3 or 4.
Of these exhibition games
Yeah.
that we're talking about. And I played for Melbourne,
Mhm.
and here I am now.
And he
playing
full
at Melbourne.
circle moment.
Yeah, that was, well, obviously when I did arrive at Melbourne, that was a full circle
Yeah.
moment. But yeah, that was, again, like I was a young athlete at the
Mhm.
time, not 18 yet. And this draft was on the live stream
Yeah.
on the TV. And me, Emily Bates and Emma Zilke all got from Queensland selected in this particular draft. Because
Mhm.
I know there's a photo of us standing in our with our jerseys, and they were Bulldogs and I was Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I was the only Melbourne Queenslander. So that was a cool experience
That
to
is
come
so
down to Melbourne as an underage kind of kid to be in the big city. And that's how I found that I really loved Melbourne. And
Yeah.
I was desperate to live here
Mm-hmm.
from a young age.
Yeah.
I was always going to end up in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And footy was the vehicle to do so.
And so you played with Brisbane for 2 years?
No, just 1 year. But that first
Was
season.
it just 1 year? But didn't we play each other? No,
Nah.
you had moved to Carlton by that point.
Yeah, that first
Yeah.
season, which was 7 games.
7 games.
That was it.
Yeah.
The total, including the grand final.
7 games, AFLW done.
But this is the thing that people, and of course I'm proud to have played for Brisbane in the inaugural season, but reality is that first season was very much a, what is this all about? And a spark the interest
Yeah.
time. And then for players too, we didn't know what we were signing up for.
No.
And it was a crazy ride and it was so fun. And I'm glad that I got to do that with friends. But literally the week earlier than the AFLW became a thing, I was training at the local club,
Yeah.
max 1 hour. If that, like,
Yeah.
and the windows had been smashed in with rocks.
Yeah.
Like, the contrast is unbelievable. And it's so cool to think how far it's come now.
Oh, if you look at the evolution of AFLW, and I think, like, I came in the second year, you were there from the start. It's like how much it has changed, how much the professionalism has increased it's incredible the journey that it's been on, the growth that has been there. And, like, we're now drafting 18-year-olds that are coming in and like, oh, this is the norm. And it's
Yeah.
like, wow. Like if you had known in the first couple of years what the competition looked like, you wouldn't have believed it, really.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And these kids are really skillful. But the reason is because they picked up a ball 9 years ago or 8 years ago, whereas obviously in the first season there was players who had literally never played AFL before.
Yep.
But they were athletes, and that was the whole thing about AFLW early days.
Yes.
Was that it was athletes as opposed to AFL footy players, or a bit half-half probably.
Yeah.
But now it's true footy players.
Now the narrative has
Irish.
changed. And some a
Who
lot
are
of Irish.
fantastic,
Yeah.
who bring the spark.
They bring the
which I
spark.
love.
They bring something like unorthodox to the game, and I think it's incredible what they do.
Yeah. I'm
It's very
obsessed with them. I'm obsessed with our Irishes.
You're the
Our
Melbourne
Irish
Irishes.
eyes, sorry.
Who? Do you,
Irish eye. Sinead Goldrick,
Sinead.
Blaine, and Amy Mackin.
I got 3.
Oh, yeah, we got 3
Nice.
girls.
Yeah,
They're
they
fantastic.
they bring so much to the competition, and the growth in AFLW has been a lot to do with the Irish as well. They've had such a stronghold in the competition. So you're just giggling, you're just smiling at me, and I can't stop smiling. You won a premiership because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the ultimate success. That's what we're here to do. Why was that team so successful?
That was the best when you won a premiership too
Yeah,
at the Dogettes.
at the Dogettes.
So, it just was the peak of it all.
It is really.
Unfortunately, I had lost 3 up until that point,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm thankful because when the win happened, and it happened to be of all places in Brisbane, so my nan could come, which is important to me.
The footy gods sometimes they whip up these stories, and you can't believe that they're true.
They know things.
And do you think the loss, because that was the year we had 2 seasons, right? Do you think the loss in 6B, no,
The one before.
the season before you won,
Yes.
do you think that drove the success for that premiership?
I
Like
think
it stung that much.
Whether it was that or the fact that we had experience, because I think to play in a premiership, let alone win one, is a whole other game of football. And unless you've been there before, you cannot prepare for it.
Yeah.
And it's the things that you don't even think about. Like, obviously the crowd is probably bigger, but it's the pre-game stuff. Like, you run out and then you have to take a team photo randomly, and then the timing is a little bit different, and obviously the week is media and all this is hyped up. So this, for a player who's never done that before, is a bizarre experience.
Yep.
So to have had that so soon before, I think was really valuable for our group. And Adelaide, who we had lost to, obviously weren't in the grand final. So yeah, they were the only other team to have recently had that very recent experience.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it played a role. But I think the reason we won that game was our contested football.
Yep.
And thankfully, the ground was literally a sandpit because we thrived on that. Like, that's
Yeah.
our game. So yeah, we were happy to turn up and just, I don't know, scrap away and try and win however
you need it
necessary.
to be. And
we
sometimes
did.
that's footy.
Yeah, the most, from what I can remember, the most tackles in a game ever, or contested situations or something.
I
It was
remember
a whole
watching
thing.
that game, and I was like, you guys, the pressure that you were putting on Brisbane was just crazy. And like they can be so used to linking up and moving the ball from one end to the other really quickly, but you just didn't allow them to do that because the pressure was so high, and you could see the hunger, you could see the desperation, and that contested footy was incredible.
Yeah, it was exciting. We all just were willing to continue to do it all the way till the last minute, and we needed to because there was a close game.
Yeah.
And then the win was just euphoric. Up until that, a lot of people wanted to say to me that we happened to be versing Brisbane, who had played for. I don't have any animosity towards Brisbane, so they're kind of drawing a conclusion that this will be such a triumphant moment because it's Brisbane. No, that's my best friend over there, Ali Anderson. I'm sad that she lost today, but I'm happy I've won. But it wasn't anything like that. So that wasn't why I was trying to win this game. And then obviously other things that have happened, or doubters and all this sort of stuff. Not for 1 second when the siren went did I think about anything other than just loving the team in that moment and being in the moment, not thinking about anyone else or anything else other than positive things.
Yeah.
And my family are just over there, and friends have come and supported me, and I love that was the reality. Whereas lots of people wanted to tell me how it was going to feel or how they thought I might feel based on my experience or whatever. But no, it was the opposite. It was all very happy, and I was 1 minute crying, next minute I'm running around crazy, and then I'm jumping around, and then I'm crying again. And
it's like this overwhelming feeling of achievement, and it's when you get to do that with your teammates and then see the joy on their face, and you're like, oh, we did it. Like, we actually did it together. Like, that's all you're thinking about in that moment. And that 20 minutes to the next week, really, that's all you're feeling. However long you want to party for. But that's what you're feeling. You're like, we just achieved what we set out this season, and we did it, and we executed.
What we set out, but what literally every single other person set out to achieve. We got to do it this time.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, it is, it's just indescribable, I would say, would be the feeling.
Yeah.
But then now is the reality that I'd like to do that again ASAP.
Yes. Then you get the bug.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I want to win again.
Yeah. So that's what we're both planning to do this year.
Yes. Well, I hope we get to play each other this year. That will be super fun. Like, both of us not injured. Yeah. And then, like, actually playing football.
And the fixture.
Yeah, and the fixture comes out and Bombers and
Melbourne.
And
I think we should, because we verse each other.
We played last year
and the year before, but maybe it's a bit of a.
So maybe we'll be out. We'll be out of the rotation. Anyways,
Possibly.
Fingers crossed. Nonetheless,
we digress.
Now this segment is one that I really enjoy. This is called Too Good to Be True.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So do you have a story from? Do you know the premise of this segment?
Oh, yeah, I've read the brief.
You read the brief. Okay. So. Do you want me to go first or you go first? You've got stories.
Oh yeah. Okay. I can
give me a sentence first, and then I'll start asking
just a sentence?
Questions.
Oh
yes.
Okay.
So do you have a sentence for your story?
Okay, I'll do a quick summary. Beans has explosive diarrhea in public.
Beans is your dog.
Beans is my grandpa. Beans is my dog.
Beans is my grandpa. Beans is my grandpa dog. Okay, this I just off the bat want to say true, but I want to know this scenario and what happened. Where were you when this happened?
I was in a vintage clothing store in Fitzroy. Let's say Fitzroy.
Let's say, just for now it's a lie. Are you just trying to trick me? Okay, so you're in a vintage store. Why is this store okay for dogs to come in?
It had a polished concrete floor, so I could only assume. One could only assume.
So you're walking past, I was like, yeah, this is dog friendly because of the floor. Okay, no carpet, noted. What had Beans eaten? Are there anything unusual to be like, make him have explosive diarrhea?
No, because he only eats the wonderful Australian-made pet food, Petsio.
Petsio, I've seen that over the socials. Yep, good plug there.
He literally has only ever eaten Petsio.
Okay,
so this
his
is
guts
bizarre.
are actually should be pretty sturdy.
Yeah, so this is why it could be a lie.
So, but he also could have eaten something on the side of the road where he's like, oh.
Dogs do that.
Yeah, okay.
So.
How did you clean it up?
Well.
Like, what's the situation
This
here?
is part of it.
Yeah.
So, of course, he's cute. He's a young border collie.
Young grandpa border collie.
Yeah. And the lady at the store was excited to see him walk in, of course, polished concrete floors. But she prefaces, my boss normally doesn't let dogs in here, so, like, just be quiet about it. But he's so cute. And I was like, no problem. Okay. I'm trying on some sort of shirt that's probably 800 years old in the vintage store. I'm in the change room.
Going for $10.
I'm in the change, yeah. No, in Fitzroy I said, so it's $30,000.
Yeah. 45.
Yeah. And so I'm in the change room and I hear this whale sound.
Example of the whale.
Like
and what, Beans is wailing as well?
This is Beans' anus making that sound. I'm not sure if this section's going to get cut or not.
No, this ain't getting cut.
Describing
this is content.
Graphically. Okay.
We'll stick a photo up of Beans so everyone can get like a little bit more of a picture.
Yes, please. And so he's had diarrhea. We've all had it.
We've all been there.
We've
all had to rush to the toilet and sometimes make it, sometimes not.
I saw like on Facebook or whatever a meme about 4 of 5 people suffer from having diarrhea, but who's the one that enjoys it?
Oh, this segment has taken a turn.
Sorry, boys.
Yes.
I've gone off track.
That's okay. I think I'm going to come to a decision now.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
Because I think I've got enough information here, and I just think this wouldn't surprise me from Beans and yourself. So I'm going to go in with that. This is a truth.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. This happened.
Yeah.
And I can't go back.
I can never go back to that vintage store.
No, not now, not ever.
No, and she even told you, no, you can't come in.
I know. You asked who cleaned it up. Well, she rushed. Well, I obviously said, let me clean it up. She rushed to get paper towels and chuckses and everything else necessary. And I'm on all fours cleaning it up in the store.
Damn.
It happens.
Damn.
Anyway.
Can you imagine
Your
the
turn?
video camera, like the video camera security cameras
yeah.
like just watching you, just like,
Yeah.
and then the boss being like, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you so.
I don't even think I can follow up with a story after that. I think you just kind of like nailed it, and I don't want to ruin that energy of you and Beans. Too good to be true segment. Took a turn. That was a good one, Tazy. Well done. I think we'll move on if we can.
I'd like to.
Okay, great. So would Beans. So what's next? What's next for you? You're also a marriage celebrant. Can I just throw this one out there to the people? Do you have any bookings coming up?
I've got some things coming up, but my
Yeah.
biggest booking is the football season. Next up, so I'm married to the Melbourne Football Club, and I'll be conducting that ceremony.
Yes.
When the season starts.
When round one comes around.
Yes. That's next, footy.
Yes.
Which, I mean, it's... Oh, actually, in saying that, like, obviously, in between that, there's some other things, such as house renovations.
Yeah.
that
House
I
renovations
chip away at,
importing.
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 Importing elephants.
Important. Yes. Tell me more about these house renovations.
Yeah, I am really enjoying this. I
Yeah.
bought a house and it was old.
And it needed renovating.
I'm modernising it. And it never ends. I heard about this and it's true.
And you just find something else to
There's
go,
more
yep,
to
need
come.
to fix that.
Yeah. So I've been enjoying that. And I've been utilising my friends and networks.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows someone who's a tradie. And
Yep.
so I like that I get to call on them and let them shine in my house.
Let them shine in your house while you're watching them.
Yeah, and paying them.
And paying them. All right, well, I'm excited. I'm excited for this year for you.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see if any other cool trips pop up because that's just like awesome. And just keep killing it. Like I really appreciate you coming today and being as vulnerable and authentic as you always are. Let's be real. And I think that's what makes you shine as much as you do, and how successful you are, particularly through probably how successful you are away from footy. I think you should be really proud of. Like you've really built a reputation on just who you are, and you don't care. You're just like, this is who I am, and I think that's really special.
Thank you. And likewise, I'm so proud of you. This is so exciting, and I can't wait to tune in to your other guests and relive the story that I've shared and regretted sharing recently. But yeah, I'm really proud of you, and this is awesome. And I can't wait to watch your footy because, of course, also injury season that is in the past now. So both of us are going to be out there healthy and having a good time being big old forwards.
Big old forwards, and hopefully we get to play each other.
Yeah.
No, thanks. Thank you so much for coming on. Just keep doing you.
My pleasure. Do you have a sign off?
Too good talks. Now it is. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Too good talks.